Howdy YouTube, and welcome to this episode of the Gunman. So just a really short one for you guys here today. We've got this bonnet on a Honda CR-V, and you wouldn't believe it, but it was like a 7-year-old rework. So supposedly we sprayed this like 2014 or something like that. The owner has then decided that the paint has faded too much and we have to respray it. The roof had actually faded just as much, and that was not painted by us, that was factory. But hey, the customer's always right, I guess. So all I did on this one here was I just gave it a really light hand sand, just with 800 grit. And then I went over the top of that with the Grippy Sanding Pad, the 1000 grit, all just by hand because I didn't want to go and cut through, because all I'm literally doing here is a coat of clear. I actually did mix up 20 mils of the color, and I did a couple of touch-ups here and there just where the stone chips were. Now usually I wouldn't do that. Usually I would always fill the stone chips in and then spray over them, but I'm like, you know what, let's keep the cost down on this job here. It actually is really not that big of a job at all, but the main reason I thought I'd do a video on this was just for a first impressions on the new 3M Performance spray gun. So that's what you see me using here. It's all plastic, and look, I must say I'm really impressed with it. Now, this is like the updated version of the 3M AccuSpray, a gun that got really bad reviews from, well, most people, including myself. It was so bad at spraying primer that I didn't even want to take it into the spray booth to put color or clear or even wet on wet. That's pretty much where I was at with it. I was like, man, this thing is so slow. I read their recommendations on pressures and all that, and look, I just found it to be a very average spray gun at best. So look, it's funny because I was only thinking about that like 2 months before these things were announced. I was thinking to myself like, geez, they were kind of onto something with that AccuSpray. If only it sprayed well, like they would have been onto something, you know? And as it turns out, they've done a massive improvement on those nozzles. They've done a couple of other minor adjustments to improve the spray gun. And look, my initial thoughts are, it's pretty damn good. This is literally the only job I have done with it so far, like just spraying clear coat on this bonnet. I wasn't, 100% sure how it was going to spray. I wasn't even sure if it was going to spray clear coat that well at all, but this was with the 1.3mm fluid tip on it. Now 3M actually reached out to me probably about 4 or 5 months ago, and they wanted me to sign my life away. They offered me money to do paid reviews. I said no, out of integrity. I don't want any money for it, Send the spray gun out, send me the kit out. It just didn't sit well with me to be paid to do a spray gun review. So rest assured that all of my opinions are still my own. They're not paid for. Hey, I get some free tools, but my opinions are still going to be my own. As I say, this is just a very short video just to show you guys what I think of it. So I'm yet to use it for base coat or wet on wet primers or anything like that, or even your high build primers, but I have high hopes for this thing. I'm actually quite impressed with it. It's got a nice size fan on it, as you guys saw, and it's nice and fast, and it's got a nice even distribution of the fluid throughout that fan. I'd also like to make a quick mention that we've finally got spray suits back in stock, so be sure to go and rush the merch store. There'll be a link in the description and also in the pinned comment down below.